The Catholic Church teaches that Christ is truly present in the Eucharist. But what happens when that presence becomes physically visible? In Lanciano, Italy, many believers maintain that this is exactly what occurred, creating what some describe as one of the most significant Eucharistic miracles in church history. What occurred in that small Italian town over 12 centuries ago is regarded by many as one of the most significant Eucharistic miracles in church history. In this video, we will journey together through the remarkable story of Lanciano, exploring its historical context, scientific examinations, and enduring spiritual significance. You will discover how this profound event continues to offer deep insights into the mystery of faith for seekers and believers today. Now, let's step back in time to 8th century Italy. The ancient town of Lanciano, Italy, known in Roman times as Anzanum, provides a backdrop for this extraordinary account. According to multiple historical records, around the year 700 AD, a significant event is said to have unfolded during a morning mass at the church of St. Lanciano. The celebrant was a Basilian monk who, according to various accounts, had been experiencing profound doubts about the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. This spiritual struggle is described as having reached a critical point during the consecration, as the priest spoke the words of institution, "This is my body, this is my blood." A remarkable transformation is reported to have occurred before his eyes and those of the congregation. The host is said to have changed into what appeared to be physical flesh, while the wine in the chalice reportedly transformed into what looked like physical blood. Contemporary descriptions note that the flesh was described as having a pale, circular form, while the blood was said to have coagulated into 5 irregularly shaped globules of varying sizes. This event, witnessed by those present, immediately transformed the priest's doubt into fervent belief. The local bishop was informed, and an ecclesiastical investigation was initiated. The transformed elements were carefully preserved as sacred relics, first in the original church, and later transferred to the nearby church of St. Francis, where they remain to this day. Historical records from the area indicate that this event quickly became a focal point of local devotion, with pilgrims beginning to visit the site within years of the reported miracle. The consistency of this narrative across multiple historical sources, despite some minor variations in details, underscores its significance in the local religious tradition. To understand the full significance of what's preserved in Lanciano today, we must first journey back to that pivotal moment in the 8th century, when a priest's personal crisis of faith is said to have triggered one of the most enduring miracles in church history. But what makes this story particularly compelling is that it didn't end in the 8th century. The very same physical elements that reportedly transformed during that Mass are said to have survived wars, plagues, and the passage of over 12 centuries, completely untouched by decay. The physical elements from the Lanciano event are reported to have been carefully preserved through the centuries. The flesh is described as having a fibrous texture and pale color, approximately similar in size to the original host. The 5 globules of blood are said to vary in size and shape, with a distinctive appearance that has been noted in historical documents. What many find remarkable is the reported preservation of these relics without any artificial means of conservation. According to church records, the relics have been kept in various reliquaries over the centuries, with the current reliquary dating from the 18th century. This ornate container is described as having 2 distinct compartments, one for the flesh and another for the blood globules, allowing pilgrims to view both elements. The relics are housed in the Basilica of St. Francis in Lanciano, where they have been since approximately 1636. Historical accounts note that throughout various periods of war, natural disasters, and social upheaval, the relics are said to have remained intact and accessible for veneration. The continuous documentation of their preservation across different historical periods is noted by researchers as significant. During the 16th century, the relics were reportedly examined by church authorities who documented their unchanged condition. In the early 20th century, additional ecclesiastical investigations were conducted, with similar findings recorded. The enduring nature of these relics, maintained in their reported state for over 12 centuries, is seen by many believers as remarkable. The basilica itself has become an important pilgrimage site, with thousands visiting annually to venerate what many perceive as tangible evidence of divine intervention. While the initial transformation was remarkable enough, what happened next would test the miracle's endurance across centuries, raising the question, could these fragile biological materials really survive the passage of time without any artificial preservation? While faith requires no scientific proof, what happened in the 1970s would bring this ancient miracle into the modern laboratory, with results that many found astonishing. In 1970 to 71, a significant scientific examination of the Lanciano relics was conducted under the authorization of church authorities. The investigation was led by Professor Odoardo Linoli, head of the Institute of Anatomy at the University of Siena, assisted by Professor Ruggero Bertelli of the same university. According to published reports, the researchers collected small samples of both the flesh and blood globules for detailed analysis. The methods employed reportedly included histological examination, chemical analysis, and various laboratory tests. The findings, published in scientific journals, are said to have revealed remarkable characteristics. The flesh was identified as human myocardial tissue, specifically from the heart wall, with its anatomical structure reportedly well preserved. The blood globules were determined to be composed of human blood. Both elements were found to belong to blood type AB, which is noted by researchers as consistent with other reported Eucharistic miracles. The blood samples are described as having normal protein distribution for fresh human blood. Perhaps most notably, the samples were reported to show no signs of artificial preservation or decomposition, despite their alleged age of approximately 12 centuries. Professor Linoli's conclusions, as cited in multiple sources, stated that the preservation of these biological materials in their reported state for such an extended period defied natural explanation. The scientific report was subsequently reviewed and endorsed by the World Health Organization's Committee for Research, according to some accounts. This scientific investigation has been widely cited in discussions about the Lanciano miracle, with many seeing it as providing empirical support for the traditional account. The remarkable preservation alone might have been enough to sustain devotion, but in the 20th century, a new chapter would unfold, one that would bring modern science face to face with this ancient mystery. The scientific findings were remarkable enough, but perhaps even more fascinating was what researchers reportedly discovered about the blood type, a detail that connects Lanciano to other Eucharistic miracles across centuries. The Lanciano event holds profound theological significance within Catholic tradition. Many theologians and church authorities have reflected on its implications for understanding the Eucharist. The Catechism of the Catholic Church teaches that in the Eucharist, the body and blood, together with the soul and divinity of our Lord Jesus Christ, and therefore the whole Christ is truly, really, and substantially contained. The Lanciano miracle is perceived by many believers as a visible manifestation of this spiritual reality. Church documents and theological commentaries often present it as a divine response to human doubt, emphasizing God's compassion toward those struggling with faith. The reported miracle is seen as reinforcing the doctrine of transubstantiation, the belief that while the appearances of bread and wine remain, their substance becomes the body and blood of Christ. Numerous popes have acknowledged the significance of Lanciano. Pope Paul VI reportedly referred to it as a miracle which can be defined the greatest of its kind. Pope John Paul II, during his visit to Lanciano, is said to have reflected on how the miracle speaks to both heart and reason. Beyond its doctrinal implications, Lanciano holds deep spiritual meaning for many faithful. It is often cited in discussions about the relationship between faith and science, with many seeing the scientific investigations as complementing rather than contradicting religious belief. For individual believers, the miracle is frequently described as strengthening personal devotion to the Eucharist and inspiring greater reverence during Massachusetts. Spiritual writers have often used the Lanciano narrative as a metaphor for Christ's willingness to make himself accessible to human understanding, meeting doubt with tangible signs of his presence. Scientific findings, however compelling, only tell part of the story. The deeper significance of Lanciano lies in what it reveals about the nature of faith itself, and why this event continues to resonate so powerfully within Catholic theology. Beyond the scientific data lies a deeper question. What does this event mean for our understanding of faith today? The answer may lie in how this miracle bridges the gap between doubt and devotion. The enduring legacy of the Lanciano Miracle continues to resonate with contemporary believers. The Basilica of St. Francis remains an active pilgrimage site, welcoming visitors from around the world throughout the year. Pilgrim accounts frequently describe profound spiritual experiences when venerating the relics, with many reporting renewed faith and deeper appreciation for the Eucharist. The local diocese maintains ongoing devotion to the miracle, with special liturgies and processions commemorating the event annually. Beyond Lanciano itself, the story has gained international recognition through exhibitions, publications, and digital media. The miracle is often featured in discussions about Eucharistic miracles worldwide, serving as a reference point for similar reported phenomena. For modern Catholics facing questions about faith in the scientific age, Lanciano offers what many perceive as a unique intersection of religious tradition and empirical investigation. The scientific aspects of the story are frequently highlighted in apologetic literature and education materials aimed at young adults and those exploring the Catholic faith. The narrative of a priest overcoming doubt through a transformative encounter continues to inspire those experiencing similar spiritual struggles today. Many contemporary theologians see Lanciano as particularly relevant in an era characterized by both skepticism and spiritual seeking. The miracle's emphasis on Christ's tangible presence addresses what some describe as a modern hunger for authentic spiritual experience. The ongoing devotion to Lanciano, spanning more than 12 centuries, stands as testimony to an enduring impact on Catholic spirituality and its continuing ability to inspire wonder, faith, and contemplation among diverse generations of believers. Theological understanding and scientific investigation both enrich our appreciation of Lanciano, but the truest measure of its significance may be found in the living faith of those who continue to journey there as pilgrims. The true power of Lanciano isn't just in what happened centuries ago, but in how it continues to transform lives today, as thousands of modern pilgrims can attest. The story of Lanciano stands as a remarkable convergence of historical account, scientific inquiry, and enduring faith. Across multiple sources and centuries, a consistent narrative emerges, an event in 8th century Italy that transformed doubt into tangible devotion. The scientific examinations of the 20th century, while not providing definitive proof of the supernatural, are reported to have revealed biological characteristics that many find consistent with the traditional account. What makes Lanciano particularly significant is how it bridges a gap between the spiritual and the physical, offering what many believers perceive as a visible affirmation of the Church's teaching on the real presence. For over 12 centuries, this story has inspired pilgrims, challenged skeptics, and comforted those struggling with faith. The enduring legacy of Lanciano may ultimately lie not in proving the miraculous, but in reminding us that the search for truth often leads us to the intersection of faith and reason, where mystery and meaning converge in ways that continue to inspire wonder across generations. If this journey through the story of Lanciano has resonated with you, consider subscribing to our channel for more explorations at the intersection of faith, history, and mystery. Your subscription helps us continue bringing these meaningful stories to light. If this video has inspired you or given you new perspective, please like this video. It lets us know what content matters most to you. Sharing this video with others who might be interested helps spread these stories of hope and faith to a wider audience. We'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever visited Lanciano? Or does this story resonate with your own spiritual journey? Your personal reflections enrich our community's conversation. May the peace and grace that transcends all understanding be with each one of you today and always.